don't telecom a lot of folks, only when we feel it's important or someone we want to catch up with, and this is definitely one of them. The man's worked with numerous pro athletes, Olympians, individuals. I don't know if you've been with an Olympic team yet. That's the main thing I want to dig into because I'm just personally interested. Olympic individuals is obviously a great achievement in its own, but Olympic teams is just a little bit different vibes. Father, husband, really good friend of ours, someone I met through Barbell Brigade technically. I guess we kind of met on our own, but in Barbell Brigade.
Yep.
I remember the day like it was a rom-com. I'm in the lobby of Barbell Brigade, and the team at the time I was pretty close with. They had been there a long time. Some great folks, but a lot of people aren't really. I don't know if athletes are the right term. They weren't really into sports, and so I don't know if it was Bart or Nadeem or someone came to me and said, "Mike, I think there's an NBA guy and his trainer coming in." And I said, "NBA? What you got?" They're like, "Dude, Luau Deng's coming in." And I was a big Bulls fan, grew up in the 90s, so it's hard not to be a Jordan fan. And then you just kind of keep that with you a little bit. So I was a huge fan of the Derrick Rose, Luau, Joakim Noah era. I said, "Dude, that's fucking sick." And they're like, "Yeah, I think like the trainer like knows all of us somehow or something. Like he's just tapped in." I was like, "Oh, sick." They're like, "Just kick it." So I think I kicked it at the gym for like 3 hours. We did that anyways.
Oh, jeez.
Because we had nothing to do. You know, we were all like just filming YouTube, and it was the happy days. But yeah, I was just kicking it, and then I think you walked in, and we chatted for a bit, and you had some stuff to do, so I kind of tried to let you be. But I don't know how we reconnected, but we did reconnect, maybe Instagram or something. And then many a venture later, here we are. We've been on cruises together. We've trained together. Watch basketball. We've been to nightclubs. I've probably been to more nightclubs with Jacob than I have with any other person on the planet. And neither him or I like nightclubs or drink, really.
True.
Yeah, and we end up in nightclubs together. But some good times, buddy. Some good times. But there's a mini resume. There's much more to the man. But there's a brief for our listeners. You got anything to add in your resume? Yeah, add to your resume. What you got?
No, I was just saying, I'd known you guys for a long time. First via, internet and podcasting and all that stuff. And then I did get plugged in through Barbell Brigade. And we kicked it at LA Fit Expo.
Yeah.
2016? Jim came down to LA.
2017? Maybe 2017.
Got to be.
Yeah.
And then Jim came down to LA, and him and I had a really nice brunch.
Yeah, breakfast, coffee, something. Yeah. That was the first time we met in person.
Then I came up to SAC a couple times.
Yeah.
And then Luau came up to SAC.
Yeah. Yeah.
We ended up at a hookah bar.
Yeah. In the middle of nowhere. Luau, for those that don't know, Sudanese player, refugee to England, UK, ended up in New Jersey, played for Duke, and I've been a big Duke fan. That's kind of where that all lined up. Jacob met him in Chicago, correct? And then trained a bunch of athletes at the time, but kind of was captured by Luau to be more of an individual traveling coach. And then, Luau obviously had an insane career. Chicago, Miami, L.A., tapered off into Minnesota, and now is doing everything. But I think that's where the story leads to the Olympics. So Luau, a lot of investments, money, business, but also like lead charity, lead giving back to where he's from. He's been a big part of NBA Africa, the president?
No, but he is one of the investors in BALL, which is Basketball Africa League.
Okay.
Which is kind of a sister organization to NBA Africa.
Got you. So there's that. You guys have run basketball camps all over Europe, and he's always dragged you along with that. So you've always been a part of a basketball, strength and conditioning, culture tapped into him. And then South Sudan, right? South Sudan's first big international run. First Olympic.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, first Olympic push. Obviously, basketball has gotten insanely international. And most people tap it into, like, what, the 92 Barcelona games kind of grew the international love. But even if you look at the NBA right now, we probably have 5 of the top 10 players are not from America. maybe even more, you could argue.
Yeah.
You can go down the line and name a very, very good argument that top 5 players are not from America at the time. And that's what you guys have been doing behind the scenes forever, though, right? Like, you have a bunch of kids that have from Sudan or Africa that are seeping into the D1 programs, and you guys run a bunch of camps. Maybe tell us more on that, how that kind of started and how that rolled into Olympic life.
Yeah, so, just quick background. I met Luol in 2010. He was playing for the Bulls, had a couple all-star years, and then we started doing camps and all this other stuff for South Sudanese kids. And as his career wound down in Minnesota, it coincided with roughly the start of COVID. And so he had some time to sit, like all of us did, and just really thought about, what does he want to do? And he figured that his legacy should really be giving back through basketball. So he already had a foundation in South Sudan that he ran, and I helped him with and all that good stuff. And then in addition to that, he said, well, I could take over the South Sudan National Basketball Federation. So just like there's USA Basketball, there's South Sudan basketball as well, but nobody was really doing it or running it. And I think we've talked about this on here before, that South Sudan has, on average, the tallest people in the world.
Yeah.
The average male from a couple of the tribes is about 6'6". And so,
that's insane. I think you introduced me, or we were in like the booth in LA, and like some of his siblings. What does he have? Like 6 siblings? He has a bunch of siblings.
9 total.
Yeah. Walked in, and like his sister's like 6'4", like his other brother's 7 foot, and then obviously on the cruise we were hanging out with all the brothers. Like it's 7 foot, 6'9", and then one's like my height, but everybody else is tall as shit.
So the joke I've been telling people is, for the Olympics coming up, I'll be on the bench, and we play the U.S. once in a warm-up game in London, and then they're actually in our Olympic group as well, so we'll play them twice. And so I tell people, like, if you'll see us on TV, and I'll be the shortest, heaviest, and widest guy there.
Yeah, by far. Yeah, by far.
And you're not short.
No, I'm 6'3", 6'4" on a good day.
Yeah, they're giants. That's so crazy. That's like, because everyone, that kind of area of the world is often known for endurance, right? Like the Kenyan, Sudanese people in general, like if we're talking pure genetics.
Ethiopian.
Yeah, that's like runners,
Yeah,
triathlons. Yeah, the East African is much different than the West African, which is more like your Russ Swolls. You know, the Nigerians are known for being short and jacked, or maybe an NFL-type build, which in itself is fucking weird and interesting, right? Like, that would be like saying, like, oh, New Yorkers are 6 foot and California guys are fucking 5'5", but it just doesn't work that way on our continent for the historic reasons.
Yeah, so Luol took it over in 2020, well, technically end of 2019. And at that time, we were unranked in the world. So there's World FIBA basketball rankings, and we were completely unranked because we hadn't played enough games as a institution to be qualified for anything. And we started playing some of the lower level qualification tournaments, which leads into something called AfroBasket, which is like the championship for Africa basketball specifically.
Who's the leader in Africa right now? Like, what's the leading nation?
What's that?
Who's the leading nation in Africa, like historically, in basketball?
Probably Tunisia.
Okay. Yeah, they've made
Egypt.
the Olympics.
Yep. Nigeria.
Yeah.
They famously beat the U.S. in 2016 Olympics.
Yeah, because it's not obviously something you think about. You know, like basketball is obviously so American, and then there's a couple like Slavic countries that have snuck in, Turkey and them. And although it's popular worldwide, you know, like the Philippines and Japan, all those people, they love basketball. They're just not known to be on, you know, the stage quite yet.
Yeah, and one of the biggest issues is infrastructure. So in South Sudan, you know, we're going to the Olympics, but there's not one indoor court in the entire country of South Sudan.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Insane. We're going to Olympics for a sport, and we don't even have a facility for it.
Yeah, and I doubt it's the perfect weather to play outside.
Oh, you know, if you like 110.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I kind of do. But most sane people don't. And most people don't like to work out in it.
It's like you and I shooting on that cruise ship at one time.
Yeah, I love that. I swear to God I did.
Hot, windy,
Yeah.
humid.
Yeah, you got to play the elements.
Perfect.
That's how you get better. Softies. All these soft-ass kids in their AC. Soft
Oh, my gosh. You want to hear a story about that?
What you got?
So back in infrastructure in some of these lower level tournaments, some countries like Rwanda, they have a couple of stadiums, one really nice stadium, but they don't have a lot of practice facilities. So if there's 8, 10, 12 teams in town, they try to rotate us through. You literally practice anywhere from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Damn.
because they're trying to get you to the better facilities, but occasionally you end up at a crappy one. And we were at this one facility where it's like a roof over the court and just super, super high, probably 30, 40-foot roof. It looked like it used to be a warehouse or something, but the sides were open. There was like a falcon or an eagle or something that was like flying around. And he was just dropping turds all over the court.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
They literally had a guy whose job was to have a mop and just mop up the bird shit.
That's
as he would like swoop and poop.
Oh my God.
That's so insane. Because yeah, you think about like this is like basically an Olympic qualifier in some nature, right? Whether it's the lowest level, like yeah, you're trying to up your power rankings, and people don't think about that because like they think about USA, they think about they're getting filet mignon meals in the locker room, they're getting all this stuff, but that's probably common around the world for other people trying to qualify. Like I mean, yeah, sure, Brazil and Argentina have a little bit more like athletics behind them because of soccer, so maybe they have nicer facilities, but like some of their shit may be janky too. Or yeah, you head out to the Slavic nations, it's not like their infrastructure's built like the NBA, so you come here and there's courts every. I mean, high school basketball here is insane. Like some of those
absolutely.
I just saw Instagram tour of IMG. Like that's that's insane. That's probably better than what the rest of the world has, and it's technically a high school. It's crazy.
It's better than a lot of colleges.
Yeah, probably better than every D2 college for sure. The only ones that are beating them are the Bamas, the Dukes, the North Carolinas. It's actually nuts. It's nuts.
Right. No, it's insane.
So your full-time gig was not full-time because you wear many hats, but you were part of the crew, which is something I've always thought about. One, kind of getting to look inside of it, but in being a part of it for a couple weeks. But the crew you and Luau have built, like the community of coaches and team, like you guys all stick together, which I feel is like cool and rare. Especially as you go up the ranks of anything. You go up the ranks of money, you go up the ranks of power, you go up the ranks of life, and that's something. And obviously Luau's just ahead of it because was the guy in the NBA, but the whole team each has like a part, and you're all friends. And I just thought that was such a unique dealing with. And I've met some other people that are very successful and athletes and stuff. It just doesn't seem like their core is as tight. You know what I mean? And it just seems so freaking unique. And obviously you do know because you've worked with other pro athletes as well and are part of that community. But it's just so, like, I don't know if the world knows. Because you don't think about that stuff. You just think like, oh, LeBron James this and Derrick Rose that and Stephen Curry this. But you don't know, like, the inner workings of, like, actual relationships or how happy and fun people are. Like, that whole group is just so unique.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The mix of coaches we have are some of his guys that he grew up with in London playing basketball, who are now scouts in the NBA. One of his brothers, Joe 7 foot, who was a really good college player, a good European player.
UConn, yeah.
His high school coach.
Oh, cool.
Coach Montagna, who coached the junior USA team last year at the Nike Hoop Summit.
Yeah. What's the
and then our
the Jersey high school?
Blair
Academy. Because if there are basketball folks out there, they'll know. They've had like 5 NBA guys.
Yeah, Charlie Villanueva.
Yeah.
Luau, and then our head coach Royal Ivy went to school there with Lou.
Sick.
Played point guard in the NBA, and now he's an assistant coach on the Houston Rockets.
Dope. That's cool. That's a pretty good, well-established coaching staff, considering you're playing on Eagle Dookie and a country that's never, made like international tournaments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and the cool thing is nobody gets paid.
yeah.
Everyone volunteers their time. Lual volunteers his time. He doesn't take any sort of compensation. It's all the goal of promoting, well, basketball, but specifically South Sudan.
Yeah. I mean, if the country can't afford an arena, how are they going to like pay y'all? And then sometimes when you're that small, you like have to bring the product before the pay comes, right? So you guys make a couple Olympics, you make a little bit of noise, and I'm sure that's a motivation at least for the younger cats on the team and maybe the younger coaching staff. Maybe not you and Lual as much, but you know that probably has a very different mentality going into this thing.
Yeah, some of the earlier tournaments, Lual actually self-funded the travel, the hotel, because the government was like, you know, what is this basketball?
Yeah.
Okay, good job, guys. You know, way to go. Kind of very patronizing towards us. But, you know, now making the World Cup, which we were the first team ever to qualify for the World Cup in their first try. No one had ever done it.
That's sick. That was the tournament in the Philippines?
We did it. Yep.
Yeah.
It was in the Philippines, Japan, and oh my gosh, one other country, maybe Indonesia.
Yeah.
But Philippines was the main location. But yeah, we qualified as the #1 team in Africa. We were 11-1 in qualification. And another random thing is we qualified in Alexandria, Egypt, which was the city that Lual was a refugee in first.
Oh, shit.
And he had not been back to until we came back and qualified for the World Cup.
Damn. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't imagine with that brain
That's a documentary
process.
right there.
Yeah, with that brain. Yeah, Lual's life's a documentary for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
I mean, I seen the. I always said the story was so good, but the movie was so corny. They did a mini movie on Giannis on Disney. I don't know if you saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it's worth a watch, but like just how they shoot it kind of feels Disney Channel-esque. But you can feel like, damn, this story's nutty. And the whole time I'm watching, I'm just thinking about Lou. Like, oh my God, his story has to be so similar, but maybe crazier because it's like 10 years prior, you know. And hopefully, you'd imagine the world got a little bit less racist in 10 years. Who knows? But yeah, who knows?
That seems to be on like a wave kind of thing. That's
yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, I can't fucking imagine. And yeah, self-funded. So you make Worlds. Is Worlds a qualifier, the World Cup, or is that totally separate than the Olympics because it's FIBA? Is that like
No, it's the feeder to the Olympics.
Yeah, so that is the qualifier. So you guys did decent.
Well, to make the Olympics, each like region of the world gets a certain amount of automatic bids coming out of the World Cup. So Africa, even though there's 54 countries, gets one automatic bid.
Yeah, just based on competitiveness of the past, I assume.
I guess. I don't know how they do it. Probably something like that.
Yeah.
But there's only one spot. So we finished the World Cup as the #1 team from Africa, which gave us the automatic bid for the Olympics.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. Have you been to the Olympics in person? I know you coached a couple bobsledders.
Asia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who won medals, not only went to the Olympics, but won medals multiple
Yeah.
times. I don't know if I met her in person, but I've talked to her a couple times. Just freak athlete. Jacob used to throw up.
Stick in the game.
Yeah, like throw up her training stuff. She's like box squatting 405, box jumping like 45 inches. Just an absolute savage. I assume her background's sprinting, which most bobsledders are of some nature.
Yep. She was a sprinter in Illinois.
Yeah, you don't really wake up just bobsledding. Like American bobsledders, like for 3 years they just recruited CrossFitters.
yeah.
Like I had three homies trying to make the bobsled team that were just CrossFitters because they're like strong and semi-fast. But did you ever go to any of the games yourself? Like on a personal note?
No, because her Olympics that she medaled in was in Sochi, Russia.
Mm.
And even at the time, I was like, Sochi,
Not quite the destination.
you know, you don't really want to take off work and travel for that. So no, this will be my first Olympics to actually attend in person.
That would be so sick. And Paris, can't complain about it. You've probably been to Paris.
Yep.
Have you been to Paris?
I've been a couple times, never for an extended period.
Yeah.
Just kind of like layovers. A lot of flights to West Africa go through Paris.
Makes sense. I just know you're.
So you might end up there for a day or two.
Yeah, I just know you're very world traveled.
But I tell you what, I do hate Paris because of the lack of protein in breakfast.
Yeah, was it? It's not
One time
beans. That's
like
England.
4. What's that?
What do they eat? England's the bean breakfast, right? They're known for their beans.
English breakfast.
Yeah. What's Paris got? I guess croissant.
Yeah, croissants, baguettes, and cigarettes.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Espresso.
Sounds kind of nice.
I walked around for like 4 hours trying to find somewhere that would give me like a plethora of eggs.
Yeah.
Like it's like 3 omelets with about a pound of butter among them is about what you get. I mean, it depends on where you are in Paris, but like where we were staying on the left bank last year, like it was almost impossible to find any different food. Like every restaurant had essentially the same thing, unless you went to one that was following the cuisine of another country. It was crazy. Like, and then if you go on the other side, there's a lot more stuff, but then there's also a whole lot more tourists, and waiting in line for food is never fun. But
yeah, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews from friends that went to Paris. A lot of people don't love it.
I loved it.
Yeah,
but
just the food.
Like I didn't. I thought we were going somewhat for the food, and we were kind of not going for the food.
Yeah, you just get champagne and croissant.
And cigarettes.
Omelets, cigarettes. Omelets swimming in butter. Just swimming in butter.
Yeah. I don't know. What's going on personally? You're opening a gym. You do some online coaching. A lot of your life and career, not to speak for you, but was like a pro athlete. Like you were traveling with UL. You were living with him part-time. And then obviously when he retires, you retire. Like your NBA travel one-on-one situation kind of ended. You obviously you consult, you work with Barber Brigade, and you work with a bunch of different companies and help. But you have your own companies, you have your own gym. Again, you wear many hats. What's like top 3 leading focuses of Jacob's personal life?
Yeah, so really good point actually. And Mike, I'm surprised at how closely studied you are on my life. Not that we're not close.
No, you're my buddy, dude. I gotta watch. Yeah, I pay attention. I talk about you all the time. Yeah, I talk about you all the time.
Yeah, so do I.
I show that fucking. I don't even know if you remember it, but after the concert, the Migos on the ship, the Migos came to our VIP booth, and everybody's in there, like the Migos, Julio Jones, like everyone's in our little VIP booth. That was the one night we drank. And we weren't like hammered or anything, but you like passed me a drink, and I was like, I'm good, man. Like it's whatever. And he's like, dude, this is like whatever, like $5,000 champagne. Just take it. I'm like, all right, I'll fucking drink it. So we're sitting there drinking, and then I get a airdrop on my phone, and it's a picture of like Luau, Julio, the Migos, all these people, and then my fat face is like stuck in the deep corner. So of course I save the picture. It's like me and the Migos hanging out. But yeah, of course, buddy. I want to pay attention. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, and then you got busy, we got busy. Yeah, we would have hung out more because pre-COVID we saw each other at least a couple times a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm dialed in. I'm paying attention.
Well, the last time you were on the show, you were trying to die too, or had been trying to die. So there was that.
Also true. Yeah, that was rough, but I'm good on that front.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so you got obviously kids and family. You got a bunch of little ones running around the house. That's got to be a bunch of your time.
It is, but I kind of followed Lual's footsteps in a way that when he retired, I almost died. COVID hit. My youngest son was born in January of 2020. Then my dad passed in April of 2020.
Yeah. So
that 4 months was just, I mean, life-changing events, at the max level you could possibly have.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to change your schedule. You got to change your brain. You got to change how you, see life.
Yeah, a lot of times, honestly, one of those things would be life-changing. They were all just smashed in there. And I had some time to sit and think about what I really wanted to do. And I decided that I wanted to help more with the Lual's Foundation. I wanted to help more with giving back. And at the same time, Tom Kallas and I started our online training. So I kind of kept me connected in the training world. And I started helping with Lual's Foundation in South Sudan. Well, that led me to a nonprofit called Matter that I had met in Minnesota when Lual played there. And I partnered Lual's Foundation with them. And so now I actually work full time for Matter. I still work on Luol stuff. I have our online training. Tom and I are opening a gym. And then I do the strength and conditioning for the South Sudan national team.
What's tell us a little bit more about Matter. Tell us a little bit more your role maybe and what they're involved with.
Yeah, so Matter's really interesting. When you think about philanthropic work or nonprofit work, what kind of boils into my head is this. You remember the Sarah McLachlan commercials when we were growing up? She'd be singing over the dogs that were dying.
Yeah, I cry every time. Yeah, arms of an angel. Yeah. That shit fucks you up. Yeah, that'll give you nightmares.
Like that's what I thought about.
Yeah, a little chihuahua losing its eye.
Yeah, right, exactly. And like working with Luol like really changed what philanthropic work looked like for me because of his efforts to help the South Sudanese diaspora. But Matter kind of took it a step further because their thing is sustainability. So they partner with people and then they create sustainable projects. So just as an example, one of the things that I work on is something called the Victoria Falls Boxing Academy and Children's Home. It's in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe, and it's a boxing club / gym that also is a children's home, which is just the proper term for orphanage. And we built it in such a way that we had a woman who donated money to help build the facility. We had a guy who was already taking care of about 8 or 9 orphans on his own, and he was a boxing instructor and kind of a fitness guy. And we basically built a new gym, a new home, and we wrote it up in such a way that 30% of the business would go back into the children's home to support kids. So we're trying to develop philanthropic projects where we can create a sustainable impact in such a way that it helps the people we're trying to help directly, and then also sustain the community around it, and also do it in a way that we're not constantly fundraising and going back and saying we need more, we need more, we need more. Can we do it in such a way that elevates and uplifts the people involved and the community surrounding? And so we get to do a lot of really cool projects like that. We work in education, medical space, technology. I just posted something yesterday about chaya. I don't know if you guys saw that on my Instagrams.
I did see that, yeah.
So chaya is this like really green leafy vegetable that's one of the highest in the world in terms of protein per serving, lots of micronutrients, all that good stuff. And it grows really well in arid, dry climates, which is great for a lot of Africa. So we started working with women's co-ops to teach them how to grow it and farm it. And then the more you pick it and harvest it, the faster it grows, which is also awesome.
Wow.
And so step one was can we just feed these women, their families, and their communities right around them? And then step two is, could we then buy excess chaya from these co-ops so that they could earn money on top of that? And then we could process it and then bring it back to the States for use in protein powders or something like that, because there's people always looking for more organic, vegan, et cetera, ways of doing things. So like that's the project we're working on right now. It's really hard sometimes to describe in totality what we do because we work in partnerships. So like if you guys were to come to me and say, hey, we have this really good idea for whatever it is, and I was to say, okay, well, we have some expertise there, and we were to meet about it. If we could come up with a good synergy between us, then we would say, yes, we're going to do it. We don't just do X, Y, or Z, and then like you kind of get on the bus or get off of it. It's kind of more so, where can we meet together and create real sustainable impact?
Yeah, I mean that it seems so genius, and it seems like a no-brainer, but I've never heard of like that. I mean, maybe there are other nonprofits out there. Hopefully, there are that do work similarly. But yeah, just to be like a resource hub and not have like a niche per se. So it's based in Minnesota, but it works worldwide, obviously.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, how genius is that? Like, give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. Like,
yep.
Yeah, self-sustaining, cyclical, can continue. right? Because you hear about that all the time, and I don't know, people might bash me or whatever, but like you hear about the Miami or Maui fires, and people help, they send some money, but then like then what? Like life continues, but that money does not continue. All right, you fed them for a week, and that's great. But like their house is still burnt, their insurance is still hitting them up. They got loans everywhere. You know, they got kids, whatever. So to build any project anywhere that is, fully has a life. I mean, you're giving life to, you're starting businesses, which is truly genius. You're starting a bunch of mini seeds that will grow. That's dope. That's really, really cool. And maybe we will think of something that we can use y'all with. Who started it, or like who's the main people that you work with? Like, what's their maybe background, or like what's the what's the talent that you work with? Does that make sense? Are they like finance people that kind of like have networks, or are they like business people so they know how to like integrate stuff, or a mix of all of it?
Our staff is about 30 people. We're pretty small. And I would say that we really hire, when you look across the board at the staff, from an entrepreneurial mindset. It's a lot of entrepreneurs.
That makes sense.
Almost everyone who works there has had some sort of side business at some point.
Makes sense.
And the other thing that we do that's really unique is we're on track to be we're currently 90% self-sustainable. And by the end of the year, we're going to be 100% self-sustainable, or we're on track to, through social enterprise business for ourselves.
That's sick.
Wow.
So basically all the money that is given to projects goes directly into projects, not into funding our overhead.
Yeah. Because that's always like a touchy subject with people that don't understand. You know, like, oh, you work for a nonprofit, but you get paid. Like, yeah, bitch. Like, I got to eat also, right? Like, some of that money has to go somewhere, and you need skilled people to run these companies and to do this stuff. And obviously, some of them historically have gotten blasted for how much someone might get paid for the duties they have. You know, Wounded Warriors comes to mind. They had a big, you know, I guess scandal would be the word, like 2015, 2016, where CEOs are getting paid, you know, $700K a year or something like that. And so, yeah, there's places to take advantage. But clearly nonprofits have to make money. Yeah. One, for what they do, and two, to feed the people that are doing it.
Yeah, and most of them, though, the percentage of that goes into the actual, you know, issue, problem they're trying to solve is so much less than 100%.
Yeah, resources are hard, though. Yeah. It's a hard game. That's why, like, you guys setting up basically a business and letting it run and make money off what it runs makes a lot more sense. It really is like give a man a fish, teach a man to fish. Like, by definition, it's so good.
Yeah, and so for us, we just kind of said that if you end up developing this kind of organization, it kind of turns into a monster that then has to exist to feed itself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's what happens with some of these really large nonprofits. Your overhead gets so large because of your staff that now you're fundraising purely to feed the people who are doing the work, which then ultimately becomes kind of what your mission is, even though you're doing other good things.
Right.
And I'm not here to judge those people or say right or wrong, but just for us, we want to do it differently, because our thought is, if we can be entrepreneurs ourselves, if we can go teach other people to be entrepreneurs, then why can't we be entrepreneurial within this space as well?
Sure. Yeah, a little creativity.
Our two main social enterprise businesses are, we do something called Matter 360, which is medical supplies. So, you know, being in Minnesota, we're in kind of medical alleys, what they call it, with Mayo Clinic and all that stuff. And a lot of the hospitals will just throw away tons, literally tons of medical supplies every single year, just tons of it. They just goes to landfills. So we said, well, we'll take it. Don't throw it away. And we have staff that goes through the pallets. They just drop them off. They're not sorted or anything. It's really just humongous pallets just wrapped up. They just drop them off at our warehouse.
Of what? Just like syringes and Band-Aids?
Outdated stuff, right?
Anything. Like, one time we found an amputated arm.
Oh, well, that had clearly expired.
Yeah, how do you sell that?
That was expired.
Yeah, that one goes right on eBay. Make a couple bucks. Find a freak out there. Freak cannibal.
Let's eat some old.
That's
we
crazy.
We found a glass eyeball.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
geez. Those are like 10 grand.
I bet.
Like in the package, sealed up, like just getting thrown away.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You know, MRI machines, hospital beds, ultrasounds, clamps, surgical tools, catheters. I mean, take your pick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anything and everything can show up in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So our staff sorts through it, and some stuff can actually, that's not expired, can be resold to community hospitals that can't afford some of this stuff. And so we're kind of like Goodwill for medical supplies.
Yeah, smart.
And then a large majority of the stuff, though, we do give away. So we either put it in containers to ship to hospitals around the world to outfit them, or if there's different conflicts going on, like what's going on in Ukraine right now, we've shipped, I think, around 60 or 70 tons of medical supplies to Ukraine. Because it's stuff that we sorted through and said, hey, we can send it. So we just put on a pallet, we get it to someone, and then they get over there.
Damn. Wow. That's crazy. That's smart. Really smart.
Yeah. So again, it's stuff that would have been thrown away. And now not only are we able to generate some revenue to support ourselves on, community hospitals that are buying it are buying things that they couldn't normally afford. And then we're giving things away as well to places that wouldn't have it. So everybody wins.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. Is that a different staff, or is that all just run in-house with your, like, 30 folks?
It's all within the same staff.
Damn. Yeah, you guys are hustling.
Yep.
That's dope. I mean, if you are an entrepreneurial mind, yeah, you'd probably love shit like that. You know, it's like problem solving, it's like selling, it's like scavenging, you know? Like Gary Vee's a billionaire, and that dude's still running to garage sales trying to sell a fucking, and obviously he's just doing Instagram to make a point, but it's true. Like there's something in me that like likes to find a deal. Like me and Bart were talking about our basketball cards again. I'm like, shit, man, I should go sell these. I should go slang these things. You know, there's something, you always want to find a gem. So it's kind of like built into the brain of an entrepreneur in there.
Absolutely. Well, and then the other thing is, like, you were saying, like, non-for-profit. The only difference between a for-profit business and a non-for-profit business is the goal at the end of the day.
Sure.
Both are businesses. The goal of both is to make as much money as possible. The difference between the two is if it's for-profit, you get to pocket the extra. If it's non-for-profit, you give away the extra.
Yeah.
But to do a nonprofit well, you should be really good at business.
Yeah, you got to make money. Yeah, you got to make money. And it sounds so bad or whatever, but it's just how it goes.
No. It doesn't mean that just because you're nonprofit means that you should be like bad at business and, you know, not good with money and not resourceful and not all those things. You have to be all those things still. It's just that the end goal with that excess revenue is that you use it to do good in the world. That's the basic difference.
For sure. For sure. So that takes up majority of your time. You're coaching. You just opened a gym. From the outside again, just observing, this seems like very old school powerlifting where it's like, all right, we have equipment, we got a bunch of buddies, like might as well start like a clubhouse rather than like training separately or training in a garage. How did that story come about, and how accurate am I?
Man, you are spot on. I think
I'm on it, dude.
Is there cameras?
Yeah, I got the crystal ball. I hacked Tom Kallas' phone. I see all the weird shit that kid's into. Yeah, I see it all.
We tagged you the last time that we saw you in person. And
yeah, I'm observing his life like a hawk, that little freak. Climbing fucking electric wires at night or in the morning and squatting 800 at night.
Oh, my gosh. No, you're 100% right. So Tom had a home gym, which is probably underselling it. It was a 4-car garage with a monolift and 15 pieces of equipment in there. I had a home gym, and we've been looking for a while for a smaller space where we could kind of combine equipment and then create a club. It's why we call it a Be Better Barbell Club, because it's not a gym, because we did want that kind of community, smaller feel. And Tom finally found a spot that's 7 minutes from my house, 1 minute from his house.
Oh, dope. You guys are like, 8 minutes from each other?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny. And that's by circumstance. That was before you knew each other. Ish.
Yes.
Yeah, because I know your house is newer, but like you were in the general facility before you even knew each other.
Yeah, when I first met Tom, he lived at that point only about 15 minutes from it.
That's so funny. So for those that don't know, Tom Kallas is an OG powerlifter. We've known him since he was maybe 18.
Something like that.
Maybe 19 years old. He competed in this building itself is where I met him. At that time, I think he was a world record holder at 165, or at least going for it, squatting in the 7s. And we're talking like probably 2012, maybe even 2011. I ended up funny kid, good dude, becoming friends with him. I coached him for a couple years along the ride. But yeah, we've known him already. 13 years or something
like that.
insane. What is he, 30? He's probably going to be 30.
31.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, we probably met him when he was fucking 18, which is absolutely insane. He was part of the Lillibridge crew, if that rings a bell for anyone listening. Kind of lifted weights in northern Chicago, right? Aren't you guys kind of north?
Yeah, Northwest. Yep.
Yeah, Northwest Chicago. So yeah, I mean, Chicago's been a hub for strength. Obviously, Ed Cohn's one of the first names that comes to mind. But then the Lillibridges took it up. Tom Kallas, and now all you guys are out there in the Northwest. That's so fun.
Finn?
Yeah, Huck Finn's up in the general area. I don't know what that guy's doing. I didn't hack his phone. I didn't want to see. I don't even want to know. Yeah, I don't want to know.
That was like the dangerous feed. That's not safe for work 100% of the time.
Rollerblades lighting your hair on fire on a stripper pole isn't quite what I need to see in my off time, you know? Your and Tom's feed's a little more a little more practical. A little
family
more
friendly.
Yeah, a little more innocent. Yeah, a little more something going on.
Like I'm Disney Channel, Tom is FX, and Huck is FXX.
Yeah. He's HBO after midnight. Yeah, he's that freaky shit. Yeah, he's that real freaky shit. Also a very nice gentleman to be with. Very funny, but a little wild.
Yeah. Did you guys see the 200th episode of the Let's Get Stupid podcast?
I might have seen a clip. I don't know if I've seen the whole thing.
We did it live inside of the Lamplighter Strip Club.
Oh, I've heard of the Lamplighter. The legendary. Yeah. That's crazy.
Plastic furniture. Used to have dirt floors.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if anybody listen to this and you're thinking of a strip club, it is not that.
It's not that, huh? It's like having a strip club in a barn, kind of, sort of.
100%.
And that's also northwest of Chicago-ish in the burbs?
Yes, it is. It is.
Just what I imagine of that whole area is. I need to visit one day because my brain is... it's running with ideas of where Tom Kallas and Huck Finn, because you're not from there, so I'm not judging you, buddy. You're from Texas, but I know Tom is from there, and I don't even. He told me the story one time of Huck Finn, how he met him, but I've heard a lot of insano stories from those two. So it seems like there's real gems up in the northwest of Chicago. Characters.
Treasures.
Yeah. Hidden. That shall be remained hidden. Keep them up there.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's not let
You don't uncover some of that stuff.
No. Yeah, I don't need a dirt floor strip club in my life.
I would say that, like from the time that we met you, if we were like choosing among the people in the types of people in the world that we would like pair you with, just like put a little house of cards together, Tom Finn would not have been on my list for you. So
Tom Kallas neither. That is
probably not, but maybe a little more, but not. Yeah,
probably not the predictive friendship I saw. You and Bart made some sense. Me and you make some sense. I understood where we can. And look, I can't judge because I'm friends with Tom too. So I'm just as fucked. But it is odd pairings. It is odd pairings up there in the Northwest.
Well, us three, if we lived in the same town, would be all best friends.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we're all very similar.
Yeah, Tom's a good kid. He's just got, he's just a little wilder than you and I. I think you and I...
Well, and he's changed a lot, though.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of kids. He's old now.
Yep.
Tom Finn, I think, is older than all of us. You're maybe a year older than me. And he has not changed, it seems. It seems like he is stuck in his ways. It seems like there's a lot of Miller Lite or whatever drink he drinks flowing over there.
He does not change morning, noon, night, doesn't matter what year. Huck Finn is Huck Finn.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. So when's the gym opening? So it's a club.
So
if people want to get involved, might as well plug it now while we're talking about it. It's a club, but there's got to be some way to get in. You got to do a secret handshake or something, a code.
Yeah, we have a secret handshake. We need to get that going.
Yeah, knock on the door a certain amount of times.
Through our website, you can go on my Instagram or Be Better Barbell Club or Tom's. You can sign up for monthly, yearly, day pass, all that good stuff. And there's a code on the door. You get emailed a code.
Cool.
So 24/7 access. It's not super big, but we do have a monolift. We have a couple of power rack, combo rack, all the dumbbells, reverse hyper. I think we have 18 or 19 different bars.
Yeah, you're jamming. No, I saw the videos. I mean, club I think is a good term just in the sense that you have everything you need. There's just not 30 of them.
Correct.
Yeah, but like who needs that either? I mean, we started kind of off in that general idea too. You know, we're obviously in a slightly bigger facility just by default of nostalgia. We ended up here, but kind of similar idea. Like, you want everyone to know each other. You want to say what's up. You want to spot and load.
Yep.
You want to hang out. You want to respect the space because you feel like it's part of yours. You know, no one gives a shit about a 24-hour fitness or the people in there.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So that's dope. That's dope. What's the official openings coming?
So this weekend, we're doing our grand opening on Sunday.
Sweet. And that's June
9th.
Yeah,
because we might be retrospective.
We'll be in the past by the time this comes out.
Yeah, but it's all right. So then you're
we're
open.
building some runway. At
Congratulations,
the moment,
you're open. We're in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
so. What's the square
All right,
footage?
now, how many 45-pound plates do you think we had between the two of us?
I don't know, because I feel like you guys collect shit over time. Like, logically, if you guys were smart, you'd each have like 16 each, right, in your garage, because you don't need much more beyond that, right? Even Tom, who's world record, you're a very strong guy, but Tom's world class. He wouldn't need a ton beyond that. Maybe he would need 18, whatever. But you guys are both obsessed with what you do, so you probably have more like 150 total or something crazy.
No, we had 54.
Okay, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
bad.
is, I do all the math by like 500. I take a 500-pound squat for like a good to above average squat in this style gym, and so you have 10 people squatting 500 at the same time if you need, kind of deal.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do the math. That's how I did the math on how many places to buy in this place. I was like, all right, we got 9 squat stations. Hypothetically, if everyone needs to squat 500 at the same time, how can we accommodate that?
Yeah.
So what's the square footage there?
Ooh, 1,400 square feet, something like that.
That's not that
big.
small. That's not too small.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it sort of it reminds me. The whole thing kind of reminds me of Massonomics Gym, which is, I think they have, I don't know. I think I heard recently they had maybe 90 something members or whatever, but a private facility, club style.
Shit, my first
Lots and lots and lots and lots of bars.
My first gym was 800, 600 square foot, and I fit 6 people in there during a session pretty decently. So you get to you get above 1,000, you're jamming.
Yeah.
You're jamming just fine. That's exciting, bro. And so it's unmanned, obviously, right? Because there's codes. So again, on your entrepreneurial brain, you can still travel the world, end up in Paris, do whatever. Tom's got a full-time job plus investments and business. You guys have kids, jamming. It's smart. Very cool, man. Very excited for you.
Yeah, we just want 50, 60 members. Cap it at that. Like you said, like exactly what you guys said. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody feels like you're a part of it. Like you have some ownership in it, and help each other out. Get to know each other. Spot, correct. Just really build that community, because I think all of us got into this originally because of community, or maybe we got into it to get stronger or look better, or both. But you stayed in it because of community, I think.
For sure, especially where we all come from, like. Training backgrounds were always in gyms like that, and I think that is the key to stay into anything. And anyone you see that's, besides like the top guys who are probably just wired different, you talk to a Phil Heath or a Ronnie Coleman, they're probably just wired to be great or like to prove something or to win. But you talk about anyone who's generally fit, very strong, or even semi-strong, the chances are that they train on their own, I think, goes way down. Again, you have the Dan Greens that broke records sitting in a garage, and that's definitely possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I know I wouldn't be training if I didn't have people around. If I was only in a garage gym for the last 20 years, there's just no way. It's just not fun. There's no excitement. There's like not a lot of reason to be committed. Like, sure, I want to be strong, and sure, I worry about my health, but to put that in the forefront is so important. So yeah, to have like a space like you guys are creating, and even Tom, Tom came from like the Little Bridge crew. They all squatted together on Saturdays or whatever. Yep. It kind of builds the fun and camaraderie in an individual sport, whether you're competitive or not. You just want to get better at anything. It's kind of there, so makes sense. And I assume there's not a ton of gyms in your guys' general area.
We're the only monolift,
at
least in a 45-minute drive any direction.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe it.
That's probably one of the reasons that we don't have one, because there are
there's some
to the north and the south of us. There
there's some.
There are some, and we just don't have that crew. We just do not have.
Yeah, the West. I mean, the monolift in general is getting a little bit less popular, and on the West Coast, it's not very popular at all.
Well, and this one Tom had built for him during COVID.
That's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's because he can't walk out a squat
guy-
because he's a pussy. Yeah, I'd need one built too. Yeah, fool can't walk out a squat. He has a
Pull that
custom.
clip, please.
Yeah, he has a full custom monolift built because the fool can't walk. Can't walk with 500 pounds. What a wussy.
And then he's got to squat it high too, of course.
Yeah, way high. He's got to use wraps on his knees. Can't even squat normal.
Yeah, cut it high.
Yeah, needs all these
Don't
tools.
walk it out.
That's great, man. That's great. Chef can only cook when there's perfect ingredients. Yeah, well,
Poor worksman blames his tools, right?
yeah. That's true. That's Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Tom. Can't
100%.
bench worth shit. Can't deadlift worth shit. Just a one-trick pony and a fucking monolift.
Oh my God.
That sucks to be him.
You'll have to share that with him when you see him later.
He got
today.
fat again too. He was jacked for a second. I was proud of him. Now he's all fat and gross. He'll be posting. I tried to unhack the phone because every time I turn it on, I thought Gimli from fucking Lord of the Rings was FaceTiming me. Just his big hairy gut, his big hairy. Yeah, so gross.
Okay. Yeah.
He's so gross. He's jumping into water in and out, and his hair sticking to his body. Just fucking disgusting, Tom. Stop doing that, bro.
And the
Threw up in my mouth thinking about it.
all the Manscaped ads. Of,
Yeah, he needs another one. He needs the
Yeah.
bonus Manscaped. He's hairy as shit in that cold plunge.
Well, you know,
Fucking gross.
we've broken Jacob.
Yeah.
He's now broken.
Because he knows how gross he is. The truth funny lies in the truth. Funny lies in the truth. Click on Tom's fucking story and it's just his hairy wet ass. It's fucking so gross. I'm gonna go right now on Instagram, but if there's something of him wet and hairy, watch. It's gonna be there.
There's zero chance that there's not something of him wet in
Oh
hair,
no,
right?
he's only got one story. That doesn't count.
Oh.
They reset.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
they reset.
Okay.
he's
looked-
slowly turning into Dan Bell.
Yeah. He looks like he's like a pygmy version of fucking Dan Bell. Yeah. Yeah, he really is. Oh, he shaved in this one. He looks good. Here, I'll put it on camera so that people know I'm not hating on him. He looks good.
There you go.
Yeah, he's doing good there. He's doing good there. That was probably a while ago. Oh, it was April. I don't know.
Well, you've gotten pretty lean yourself there, my friend.
Yeah, bodybuilding show was on the horizon.
Yeah, so I was going to do my first bodybuilding show in a very, very long time. I did one 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to wipe my tears from crying. And I ended up pulling out because I had to travel some towards the last month of prep. And it's like, man, you can't, I don't care how disciplined you are. It's really hard to hit your nutrition, sodium, Jim, like you were saying about the butter earlier, controlling that stuff when you're traveling.
Sleep.
You can eat healthy and all that, but that little minuscule level, if anybody's ever been that lean, it makes a difference, especially that last 4 to 6 weeks of prep. But I'm in the best shape I've been in a very long time. And I would still like to compete at some point, but it'll have to be after the Olympics. And after that, I'll go back to Africa in October. And then when I come back from that, maybe I can prep through the winter or something like that. We'll see. Because it is fun. I mean, I love powerlifting. I squatted 700 last year in Tom's garage on a mono in wraps.
Oh, you cheated
probably
too.
high.
Yeah, dude, he got your ass. You used to be a
He got
legit lifter. You used to be so
got me.
legit, and now you're hanging out with that guy.
I'm hanging out with that bastard.
Yeah, wrapping fucking king size bed sheets on your knees just to put a plate on the bar.
But when I squatted that, I realized how far I was from 800. I hurt for probably 2 weeks, not in an injured way, just muscles that you don't feel unless you try something like that.
Yeah, pains, just general pains.
Right. And also, you guys know I hurt my pec probably 5 or 6 years ago. And so I don't really bench anymore. I do dumbbells and flies and crossovers and dips, but I just don't flat bench. So it's like powerlifting for me, I just don't see it in the cards, but I still want to pursue something. And the idea of being leaner and strong and big is kind of probably always a good idea, right? So something to keep me going.
Yeah.
In theory.
I mean, everyone got into lifting probably influenced by bodybuilding at some, like, I lifted very first to play basketball and shit, but like the first stuff you're watching is Arnold and Ronnie, and it's kind of always in the back of most people, at least our generation's mind. Maybe newer kids, because powerlifting's cool now, maybe they directly, the door directly led them to powerlifting. But I feel like if you're born probably even pre-2000, you got some kind of influence to get jacked rather than just squat. Like even Tom got jacked and wanted to get abs, and there's something in the back of our brains that you want to look as good as you lift somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, somewhere. Especially the raw part that we all kind of grew up on. It makes more sense. What's the Olympic schedule look like? I assume you guys got to go early. It starts July 26th or something, but I assume you got some kind of training camp or things leading up to it.
Yeah, do you have notes or something? God,
I don't know, man. I'm on Twitter a lot. You start reading shit, pretend to be smart.
That's gracious.
Yeah, surface level. It's surface level intelligence.
Oof, I don't know. You're this 50%'s about 100% today.
yeah, we're batting good.
No, we leave at the end of the month for training camp. We're gonna do it in Rwanda.
Oh, cool.
The president there is a huge basketball fan. He loves Luol. The Basketball Africa League final just happened. It's in Rwanda. They have a really nice stadium.
That's awesome.
So we'll do training camp there. Then we're gonna go play 2 friendlies in Ivory Coast.
Oh, just kind of warm up games.
Go to London. Yep, a couple warm up games. And then we'll go to London to play the U.S. in a warm up game, and then we'll take a train to France.
Oh, sick!
Which I'm excited about.
That's a fun.
I've always wanted to take a European train.
That's a fun ride.
Is it?
Yeah, you can hardly even tell, that you're going as fast as you're going. It's like nearly 200 miles an hour.
Oh shit, that's dope.
Wow.
Under the water.
Wow.
Carry the water. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah. Little signs tell you how fast you're going, and it's amazing.
And then the Olympics themselves are what? Probably 2 or 3 weeks, depending on. It's almost like a guaranteed 2 weeks with group play, and then who knows, something like that.
Yeah, you play 3 games. There's 4 teams to a group, and there's 3 days in between games. Well, 2 rest days, so you play every 3rd day.
Yeah. Do you know the group? You got USA, tough draw.
Yes.
Who else you got? Yeah, especially with the whatever team they're calling it now, but the we're pissed from losing team again.
Right.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good when you got LeBron and whoever else wants to play angry.
Well, and it's supposedly the last run of this generation. LeBron, KD, Steph, all those guys.
Yeah, Kawhi even, I think.
They probably won't be back.
Kawhi even?
Yep,
yeah,
Kawhi.
Yep. We're stacked. We're stacked. If we don't win a gold medal, I'll buzz my head bald. Yeah, like it's gonna be a rough, like it's rough for the world when our best get a little angry.
Well, the problem is the other team in our group is Serbia.
Okay, solid.
So earlier you were talking about the best players in the NBA being international. For the most part, let's see here, the MVP, last 4 years has been international?
Yeah. That's what I said.
Jokic or Embiid?
Yeah, you name the top 5, you could easily go Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and then even like if you want to make an argument like Shai or someone, and I know he's Canadian and people don't consider, but like you could easily make an argument we have absolute international freaks in the NBA. They really are taking over.
100%.
Where in the past there would be like good players. There'd be like a Vlade Divac, who's very good.
Yep.
But he's not in the top 10 conversation. Hakeem would probably be the other best argument for top 5 at a time. But it's hard. Mutombo or something, who's probably a top 10, another African legend. Both of them, him and Hakeem. Yeah. But it's rare that you got the density of international talent. Who's on actual Slovenia? Is that Jokic? No, I get them all confused.
So Serbia is Jokic.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a problem because
it is.
In the World Cup, we played Serbia. They were in our group. And I saw the best basketball I've ever seen in my life when we played Serbia.
Yeah.
Before the games, you exchange like these gifts, like soccer.
That's cool.
You go give each other stuff. And they gave us a pin that said 100 years of Serbian basketball.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the argument for soccer. Like, people don't talk about it. But, like, so in the U.S., you grow up playing whatever sport you do, and you're ripped up into your AAU teams. And then maybe in a senior year in high school, you'll get on an under-18 USA national team. But the chances you even advance from there to the NBA, whatever, is low. Like, not everyone, because it's like recruiting, like you're scouting. You don't know that kid's going to be the best, but he's the best right now. So he makes that team, and you play together for like one tournament. But then you go back to your high school teams and your AAU teams. You grew up in a different country playing soccer or basketball, and your national team is it. Like, you're already the chosen one. So Messi's played with these cats from Argentina for 25 years. Jokic has probably played with these guys literally since he was 12 years old. Like, they're probably his best friends. Sudan might be similar now for you guys. Like, they at least probably grew up two separated.
11 of our 12 players are refugees.
Just two separated.
They grew up all over the world.
Just because it's a different country. But you go to Europe and South Latin America and probably Asia, and they just grow up in these systems, and so they're either hate each other or love each other, but they've played together for decades. It's such an established group, and that's what people have always talked about. Like when Peja and them were in the Olympics, Spain and the Gasol brothers, even the UK team a little bit with Ben Gordon and Luau and them. Like they had a squad that at least knew each other well. Did Ben was UK, right? And Chicago. Yeah, that's crazy because they were on the Bulls together too. But at least you have like some friendship in the background, you know, where the U.S. builds it when you're a pro. Like, you sure LeBron and Steph are friends now. But the chemistry is just so different.
100%. And that's exactly why we got our ass whooped, because doesn't matter what we did. Yeah. They adjusted instantly to us. And it was so in sync and so unified. It was like a fucking alien hive mind. Yeah. It's incredible. And Jokic didn't even play because of they just won the championship.
Oh, yeah, so he's just chilling.
So he didn't come, but they still got second at the World Cup. Yeah. They beat the U.S. Yeah. So now you add Jokic into that team for the Olympics, and they're in our group with the U.S.
Oh, the groups are random, right? Gosh. The groups are a lottery?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly. Yeah, you guys got fucked. Yeah, you guys got absolutely fucked. I like that. Yeah, probably the two best teams in the nation right now that I can think of.
Well, having said all that, then what does success look like for South Sudan in the Olympics?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I don't want to take the easy way out, but it is true. South Sudan has never been represented at a team level in the Olympics. Yeah. They've never sent a team in any sport. So for the country, this has been a really unifying thing for us to be unranked to #1 team in Africa, World Cup, Olympic qualifying. When the team flew back, they had a parade, and I'm talking thousands of people. They closed the airport. They let thousands of people on the tarmac to cheer on the players as they came off the plane. I mean, it is Disney movie level S stuff. Yeah. Super cool.
That's dope. Yeah, I mean, it's your first time. I mean, you're in uncharted territory, right?
Yes. And not only that, we're uncharted basketball territory, uncharted African territory, South Sudan's youngest country in the world. There's so many things. If you stack them up, we shouldn't be there, and we are. Yeah. And the country is so proud to be represented and to be represented well. And there's if you know your South Sudan history, some of the civil war came out of tribalism, different tribes fighting for control. And we have people from all sorts of tribes on the team. It doesn't matter. We have refugees. They're all refugees from all over the world. Doesn't matter. When we play, you have fans in Australia, South Sudan, Europe, America. They're all watching. We have the most viewed social media of any FIBA team simply because there's so many people spread out everywhere.
Yeah, that's dope.
And South Sudan is Eastern Africa. Sudan is to the north. Ethiopia is to the east, and Uganda is to the south, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the average age of the roster? It's got to be like under 25.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but for sure under 25.
Yeah, because like I've seen you play, and I've seen other kids on your roster that you've worked with for years because you guys have been doing stuff there, and you'll post them, some in the G League even or college or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so like I assume you and Lou have known these guys for a while, which is a cool part of the process too, because you guys you're not brand new. Yeah, you're not just showed up and let's go to the Olympics or something. You've been a part of their growth as basketball players. But for them to be so young and kind of lead that way, I mean, that's how it all starts, right? Because then there's an 8-year-old kid in South Sudan right now that's going to watch the Olympics for the first time in his memory and just be so stoked that there's basketball there, that there's someone that looks like him, that's from where he's from, that knows these tribal histories, and maybe he knows their cousin or some shit, and now they're on TV playing against LeBron James. I mean, that kid's going to go pick up a basketball. There's just no way he doesn't, and like that's how it started everywhere, and that's like the cool unifying thing about sports. It's easy to say like, oh man, like they're just dribbling balls and making billions of dollars, but like the cultural individual impact that a sport can make on a kid is so insane. Like he'll want to make friends, he'll want to be part of a team, he'll want to be something, which is the big difference between an individual sport and a team sport. I think a team sport can take you so far in terms of your skills in life, right? Whether it be business, you're working on a team, whether it be how we talk about training, you got to work as a team. And just like that, the happiness that comes along with that will be super cool to see the next 10 or 20 years what Sudanese basketball may or may not look like.
So here's maybe the most important question. Obviously, this story makes us think a little bit about the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah, Cool Runnings.
Which led to Cool Runnings. Yeah. So my important question to you is, who would you like to play you in the Disney movie version of the South Sudanese Olympic basketball team?
It's got to be a movie in like 10 years. Within the 10 years, it's got to be.
Disney Plus next year.
Who was it, John Candy?
John Candy, yeah.
Yeah, John Candy. You seen Cool Runnings, Sebas?
I have.
Cool Runnings is good, bro. Jamaica, we got that bobsled team. That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. So we've actually had a couple of camera people filming for the last 3 years.
Dope.
Good.
And we're talking to a couple of production companies about making a actual documentary, like a 30 for 30 style.
Yeah.
I don't know where all that's at right now, but I do know that like Brad Pitt has a company that kind of invests in African stories, and he was interested, and I think Netflix, they're always interested in anything.
Very sports oriented right now at Netflix. This is a good time to sell a sports property to Netflix.
And obviously your team and network with Luau and his managers and shit are so tapped in, they can get a hold of people.
Well, and the story is so compelling because, again, you interview these players individually. They'll say, I grew up in Khartoum in a refugee camp. I grew up in Lebanon in a refugee camp. I grew up in here. My father was killed in the war. My mother was killed in the war. It's nobody has a linear path to this place.
Yeah.
Everyone's path is just so fucked up compared to what we traditionally, like, quote unquote, Americans deal with. And again, it's not to compare issues or problems or misery. There's plenty of shit in the world for everybody. It's just what you normally see for this level of an athlete. We don't really have those stories.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. And even in Egypt, when we qualified for the World Cup, there's still a lot of South Sudanese refugees who live there. A lot of refugees fled there during the war, including Luau, because you could actually walk there. I mean, it wasn't close, but you could walk there. So when we played in Egypt, we had 2,000 or 3,000 fans show up to the stadium to watch us play.
That's sick.
Wow.
Well, Egypt had not qualified yet. And they said, we're not allowing any South Sudanese fans in the stadium. They're a security risk. There's a history of racism there as well between Egyptians and South Sudanese, and it's a whole other thing. So we had 2,000 or 3,000 fans outside the stadium. They brought police and riot gear. Nobody was rioting. Nobody was anything like that. But I'm talking those shields, all that shit, water cannons. This is for a basketball game. It's insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not because there's some tension. There's no like tension with the rival team or something. Yeah, it's all local.
We weren't even playing Egypt that night.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if we were playing Egypt, like all right, I could start to see something, but nothing.
No.
Yeah,
we weren't even playing them. And when we left, it was like we were on the bus, and literally like the riot police like pushing the people apart, and they were just trying to cheer. They weren't trying to do anything but cheer. Well, Egypt played after us, and they were playing Tunisia, who's another really good team and a rival because those countries are close to each other. And at halftime, the game was tied. So guess who got in the stadium for second half?
The South Sudanese to cheer on
All the
Egypt.
Egyptian fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wait, the whole stadium was empty when you guys played then? Or they let in some Egypt people? Damn.
No. Empty.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
Were
you there for this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was on the bus, all that stuff.
That's crazy.
So we have footage of all that, which is crazy. But the other thing is, because there is this history of racism between Egyptians and South Sudanese, and again, I'm not saying for everybody, but there is a lot of incidences of it. We did play Egypt, and we beat them by 24, 25.
Yeah.
And we had some kids who messaged us on Instagram and said, for the first time in my life, these like 8, 9-year-old kids, I walked to school with my head held high because the Egyptians couldn't talk shit to me because I could say we're better than you at something.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because they're probably they're left out on everything. They look a little different. They're from somewhere different.
Yep.
So I'm going to make a couple of
basketball. So
go on.
I'll just say, Jim, just real quick to answer your question, I would say like us being there is the success. I think this is more of the reward phase of it, if that makes sense. Like trying to enjoy the process, enjoy being at the Olympics, enjoy representing the country. And of course we want to play well. Of course we want to play well. But if we win, against the U.S. or Serbia, it's going to be a Disney movie in of itself.
Right.
It will be a Disney movie.
What's the
we should lose those games.
What's the third team? Or the fourth team?
We don't know yet. They have one more qualifier for there's like 2 or 3 random spots left.
Yeah, it's like a play-in kind of deal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe you get a little win or something. But again, if the team's average age, and again, I know you don't know, but they're college-ish kids. You're like just finishing college-ish kids. They got another Olympics in them, right? They'll be 29. Right. The average age then will be 29, which, in basketball seems to be prime. Obviously, there's Anthony Edwards and freaks out there, but generally speaking, your late 20s, you got the wisdom and athleticism. They got another run at the Olympics, so to have some fun, gain experience here seems like the right mindset to take.
I have some nominations for who could play you in the Disney movie.
You know who I got?
Who you got?
I got, he's a little short, but based on looks, I think he could turn his charm up because Jacob's very positive, very charming, and this guy isn't known for that. Maybe like a Tom Hardy.
Oh, Tom Hardy's a little too old, though, I think.
What is Tom Hardy? He's probably 40. He probably just looks older. Jacob looks young. Jacob's older than me.
Yeah.
What are you, 36, 37? Yeah, see?
Yeah.
38.
Okay, here are my nominations. If I liked him, I would say Miles Teller, but I don't. But
yeah, Teller's all right.
But yeah, that's one that could work.
He can be cheery.
Yeah. Theo James.
I don't even know if I know who that is.
Theo James. He was in the Divergent movies.
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
Jay Courtney also in those movies, and I think that like his career trajectory would probably work because you're not going to be a major character in this story unless they just make it about you because you're the white guy. But
right.
Not a bad choice. I think that like the reach would be maybe Glenn Powell. Like,
hold on, I'm looking it up. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Who's playing Lou? Is Lou got to play Lou?
I don't know who could play Lou.
Yeah, I don't either. There's not a lot of 6'9" dudes stomping around.
All right, here's the dark horse. You ready for me?
Yeah.
Alan Richson.
Oh, well, he's a little bit bigger than you, just a little bit.
I mean, the camerade's 10 pounds.
I think he's your same height, though. I think he's 6'3", right? He's 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, he could do it. Yeah.
That's a big gentleman.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Like, yeah. I mean, Hollywood always takes everything up a notch, and he's that much bigger than you, and yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
I'll take it.
He's got all the TRT in the world behind him, and
Yeah.
What made that dude famous? I know he's in Fast and Furious.
He's been in a bunch of things, but Reacher's the thing that really made him famous. But he's been around for a long time.
Is that who we were talking about for Batman?
Yes.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Yeah, I didn't know about him really until Reacher.
Yeah,
he was in the 2014 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Don't know if I even seen it.
He was not a turtle, as far as I can tell.
Maybe he was who's the hockey guy? Not Jason.
Casey Jones.
Is that? Yeah, Casey Jones. He might have been him.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, and he was.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a voice. I assume it's a cartoon.
It may be.
No, it's live action.
Oh, really?
Stephen Amell was in that one.
I don't know if I've seen any of the new live actions.
Oh, he was Raphael. He was a turtle.
Oh, that's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I mean, I hope this story in general gets some play on American Olympics, because one thing that makes the Olympics cool is the stories, right? Like, the games are cool and who wins is cool, but like everyone forgets who got a medal or if they got silver or gold. Like, it's always the stories that go along with them, and to have like such an international team and an international impact for a country that's newish, right? That doesn't get a lot of spotlight for anything, even the negative. It doesn't get a lot of like people. There's obviously tons of negative happening everywhere in the world now, but it's always we don't have to dive into politics and shitty media, but media chooses what they decide to show, and they don't always show the dark side of things that don't have our hands in. And so for these kids, whether they went through it, their parents went through it, someone they know has gone through heinous things, to make it to the Olympics as kind of like a Cool Runnings type story, where they had to learn how to bobsled on a dirt hill, and you're telling us an eagle shitting on your free throw line, y'all went through it. You guys really went through it, and hopefully I'm hoping NBC or whoever the hell's covering this thing at least has a blurb on it.
Those athlete and team packages are the things that make watching the Olympics so much more worthwhile. Alan Richson was on American Idol. He sings in 2004.
Oh,
interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, he was also, I think the thing that most people who've been watching him for a long time would get is he was in Blue Mountain State.
That was the frat boy show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I know it.
Football, college football team show.
Yeah.
Drama.
Never.
Comedy, kind of, I think. Hunger Games also. So yeah, I approve this casting. We'll get his people on the phone.
Yeah, we'll talk to Brad.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Pitt. See what the hell's going on.
Well, I mean, they don't anymore. They don't make a documentary without figuring out what the narrative movie's going to be.
Right.
Because that's you have to put the whole package together to make the money, I think.
Yeah, especially with the turnover of media now. Everything's cool for a day.
I got one more question, and you can take as little or as much time as possible with this question, and that's when back in the days when we met you, and if you were looking forward to 2024, what did you think you would be doing versus what you're doing now?
Because, I mean, the majority of your 20s, you were pretty dialed in as a strength and conditioning coach.
Yep.
Right? Whether it be for multiple athletes, Lou, whatever, across the paths, that was a large chunk of what you did, was pure coaching.
Yep. Man, that's a really interesting question, because I've known you guys a very long time.
Yep.
Coming up on 10 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I would have never thought, and this is like total fanboy, but like I would have never thought I would have met you guys. Because I listened to you guys when I was going to the gym to work, and I loved you guys at that point. Like, I never thought I'd actually meet you in person, much less become friends with you guys. So that whole LA time, I never even saw that coming.
Yeah. I bet Luau didn't either.
No,
Yeah.
for sure he didn't.
Yeah, that was a hell of a twist to everyone's lives.
It was. You know, like even Barbell Brigade, like when I first went there, I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I was so unplugged in to that world, you know, YouTube and I just didn't know what I didn't know. I just went there because the gym looked like it could be a dope place where we could get some good work in.
Yeah.
And they were so friendly and kind to me that I was like, this is a place for me to stay. And same thing when I met you guys in person. I'm like, wow, you guys are so friendly and kind. Mike, I still squat in the belt that you signed for that ad.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
signed this belt for this ad, and you say, here, Jacob, you can have this belt. I still squat in that belt. I squatted in it Friday.
That's crazy. Out of a monolift. Disrespecting it.
Yeah, I have monolift. Yeah,
Son
sorry.
of a bitch. It's all right.
So it's hard to say because I don't know that I had time to stop and think about it back then.
I can imagine
I
your
for sure
schedule
could not
then.
have planned it.
People don't like pay enough attention to that. Like, I wanted to play pro basketball my whole life, and even after playing college, I just knew, like, man, I don't know if I can mentally keep up with this schedule. And the NBA schedule is times 1,000, and you lived the NBA schedule. Traveling every other day, flights at 2 a.m. to get to the next game. Plus, you got to actually work. So you got to wake up whenever you got to wake up to train Lou, to train the team, make sure his nutrition's locked, make sure his sleep locked. Like, you lived a very torturous decade. That is tiring. That is tiring, you know? And so for you not to have foresight in the future is very understandable, you know? Because you're on the go. Like, for 8 months out of the year, you're screwed. Yeah. You're lucky if you get a meal in.
Well, and I will say this. I will say that I know that coming out of my, like, mid-20s, I wanted to work with good people, number one. That was huge for me. I had already worked enough in my life with some real grade A turds that I did not want to continue to do that moving forward.
Yeah.
And Lual is one of the best people I've ever met. He continues to be that. So I knew I wanted to work with him in some capacity, and I didn't know the national team and all that would happen. But the foundation obviously was a part of that, and one reason why I chose to go that route. I finally went to South Sudan last year for the first time. It's a very difficult place to get to. Man, I cried on the court. It's just so many full circle things for me, and a bigger goal and aspiration than that training has taken me to. And so for now, for me to be kind of half in the nonprofit, half in the training, I wouldn't have drawn it up this way because I didn't have enough foresight or wisdom to draw it up this way, but I'm really grateful for it. And I'm always, if I really sit and think about it, I'm grateful that I can get on the phone and call guys like you, and talk to y'all, and we have a friendship and relationship and mutual respect, because that's really what it's all about. It's all of us been around this long enough and around this quote unquote game long enough to know you can do things for views, you can do things for likes, you can do things for shares and all that good stuff. And there's a place for that. You have to market yourself and you have to blah, blah, blah. But what really matters is when Jim and I are sitting there having breakfast and just talking about life and just really enjoying each other's company, or, you know, Mike and I are on a cruise ship shooting hoops, you know, just hanging out. Like that's the stuff about life that actually means something. Everything else is just an avenue to get to that point. Our businesses, our jobs, it allows us to do those things. And so honestly, I'm really grateful to be in a place where I've met some amazing people like you guys. And I don't mean that in a blow and smoke way. I mean in an honest and genuine way, because that is why I do any of this stuff. It's the only reason why I do this stuff. If it was up to me, honestly, I could live on a farm like I grew up on, take care of cows, work the land, not see very many people, and I'd be fine. But the fact that I've met an unusually amount of high quality people really makes me want to keep pushing so that I can be around you guys more. I want to be successful so I can fly to SAC and hang out with you guys. Yeah. That's my goal. That's my goal in life.
I dig it.
Well, you're one of the best people that we've ever met, for sure. you got a little piece of our heart for sure.
How do I get a South Sudanese basketball jersey?
Yeah.
I got to call Lou? I'll blow him up, dude.
Call Lou. No, I don't even know. I don't even have one.
Dude, I need one because as long as y'all aren't playing the U.S. and as long as y'all ain't playing Argentina, I'll wear the Sudanese every day.
Okay, all right. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
See what I can do.
Yeah, there was a time we were in a room and everyone was Sudanese but us.
That's true.
Yeah. There's fucking 15 dudes in a room. Hey, yo.
There's a guy on the national team named Kaman.
Yeah.
You've probably seen me post about him. He just started at Duke.
Yeah.
But he'll be at the Olympics playing for us. He was 16 at the World Cup. Now he's 17.
That's
he was
crazy.
the third youngest player ever at the World Cup.
Wow.
And he's a projected number 3 pick in the draft next year coming out of Duke.
2025?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it Cooper Flag?
Yeah.
He might be number 1 and Kaman's supposed to be number 3.
That's
so
crazy.
Duke should have a really good team this year.
Oh yeah, Cooper's on Duke too.
B,
no, where did Cooper go? Duke, right?
To Duke.
Yeah. That's crazy. All that after
their
Coach
front
K
court's
too.
insane.
For them to recruit that well after Coach K is a big statement.
Well, Kaman is 7'2", 7'3".
Shit.
About 250, 255.
Yeah.
And he moves like he's 180.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Kevin Durant build.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That's crazy. Is he going to play like that?
All this is
he going to play on the wing a little bit?
He can do anything right now.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The talent in the world is insane.
Well, but the point is that I do think, if I had to plan, I could see myself potentially getting back into training because he's the person I would do. I've worked with him for the last 3 years. He's a really good kid.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing some of what I did for Lou for him. Probably not to the same extent, but some of that. But the point is that at a minimum, we'll have some basketball games to go to.
Hell yeah.
And we could go watch them.
You have a kid at Sac State, right? You and I talked about that. Or he's playing at Sac State. And Sac State's program's coming up a little bit. They're trying.
Yeah.
Is he on the
recruiting some international kids?
Yeah, is he on the national team or no? He was just a kid you met through the system.
No, he was at NBA Africa, which is like the prep school for Africa, basically. It's kind of the better African kids, regardless of what country you're from. It's a boarding school / basketball program. And he played with us in one tournament, and he went to college. And so he hasn't really been in the national team fold. But, yeah, really, really good kid, man. Really good kid.
Yeah. I mean, the Duke connection runs deep, obviously, with Lou and everything else there. That's exciting. That's exciting. Is he the best player on the team then? Who's the best player on the South Sudanese team? Yeah. He's got to be in the conversation. I know it's hard from a staff point, but you're the meathead coach. You're allowed to say these things.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, the MVP of the World Cup was a guy named Carl Leak, who was a G League player on the Bulls. He's our only naturalized player, but he actually has South Sudanese roots. That guy tore it up. He had some 30-point games.
Yeah.
In the World Cup, like just tore it up. Another guy named Nooney, who was G League, flirting in the NBA level. He's really, really good. There's a guy named Wingen who played on the Lakers last year. He's a center. He's really, really good.
I mean, just the experience over the 17-year-old, right? I mean, the G League basically is pro now. It's almost getting to be like baseball where guys are going back and forth often. There's a couple guys with two-way contracts. So, like, if you play in the G League even a year, you have real pro experience, which is similar to like an international where, if you're 17, your experience is just less, regardless of your skill. And, you may be the best player at Duke and all this, but you just haven't played pros for 80 games or 60 games. It's just a different vibe.
Well, and that's the thing about Kaman. Like, he won the World Cup and gave guys, 6 points and 8 rebounds in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And these are 30-year-old pros.
Yep. Yeah, 17.
He was 16.
Yeah, that's insane. People don't understand. Yeah, that's insane.
That's the definition of gifted.
So be on the lookout for him.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. I need a Duke jersey too. I need a Duke jersey. I need a South Sudanese jersey. Rack them up.
Duke's probably easier to get hold of.
So I'll get on my list.
I don't know. Duke's hard to get hold of too. I tried to find.
Really?
I tried to find. I mean, Lou only played there 1 year, I think. But I tried to find a bunch of Lou.
Yep.
I think Jacob got it for me. Yeah, my old manager and then my old high school basketball coach were big Duke fans, so I got to lose to sign those. But those were I was deep into eBay to find them. They just don't make them with names on them. Maybe now with the NIL and shit, like the whole business is different. But back in the day, most universities didn't even put your name on it, let alone like put a number. They would just sell like a generic jersey. It would all be number 1 or something, number 0. It was hard, but the game is changing. Caitlin Clark changing the game. That's the hot topic. That's what we should have dove into. That's the hot topic.
Yeah.
Talk about
dangerous topic.
Yeah, a little racism going on, a little sexism talk. I love it all. It's all controversial.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's
dudes
complicated.
on ESPN calling her a bitch. Love it. He meant it in a positive way, but he had to back up. Pat McAfee.
Be careful about some words. There's some words I just don't use in particular ways. At least not on the airwaves.
Yeah, it's a hot topic for sure. They're making money for the first time ever. Shout out to them. I think the WNBA, New York in particular, I think went profitable for the first time in 10 years or something, which is sad and wonderful at the same time. Basketball it's moving.
Well,
it's moving.
I think you're getting some people. It's interesting. They're getting seems jealous. Like I was a part of this too. And it's like, come on, like, oh my goodness, everybody was a part of it. Who gives a crap? Just play basketball. Make your money, promote your brand. Yeah. I guess that is promoting your brand, but
I mean, there's similar things people say happen with the Isaiah Thomases and shit when Michael Jordan was really exploding, and that's where the negativity, some of it may lie between Isaiah Thomas and maybe he's just a dick because no one else on the league liked him, but there's bound to be, jealousy and whatever, but I agree with you, and it's not that you can't promote your brand and market, but talking negative on someone else, especially on that level of stage, isn't going to step you forward. So like you let your game talk. You all got sponsorships now. I think Angel Reese is the main one that's been vocal like this, and I think she's sponsored by Reebok. Like just go run your own show then. If you think they're coming to watch you, they'll come to watch you. You don't have to like tell them to come watch you. But some of the fouls and shit are crazy.
And go be Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Right. Like then it shuts it all up. And I get it, like, because the argument is Caitlin Clark's losing, and I get it. They're 2-10 or something. I do understand, but that happens in the league always. That happened to Jordan. LeBron's a rare case where that didn't happen to. It kind of happened to Kobe in a sense. I mean, Kobe sat the bench for a year. Like, people just don't understand the scope of it all. But I think anything that promotes the sport, as the rising tides rise all ships, I would ride that fucking boat, man. Just keep riding.
100%.
Yeah, it is exciting. Always great chatting, buddy. Plug away. Where can people find you? You got your gym. What is it technically? Are we still in DeKalb?
No, it's not quite to DeKalb. It's on the edge of, oh boy, you ready for a geography deep dive here?
Yeah.
Sure.
On the edge of Campton Hills, Lily Lake, Elburn, and Maple Park.
Okay. So if you're in that area, Illinois.
If you have any idea where this is, you can go there.
Yeah. Well, if you know where it is, you probably need a gym membership there.
Yeah.
If you don't know where it is, you're probably nowhere
Very
close.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the website again if they want to join, whether it be coaching, some help, or the gym itself?
Yeah, so it's just official Be Better brand.
Easy.
That's the website. The Instagram is Be Better Barbell Club. For the gym, obviously my Instagram is jacob.w.ross. I use Instagram the most. I don't really use anything else at this point. We changed the name to Be Better. We used to be called Smart Strength because we felt a little pigeonholed with that. We could kind of only talk about strength training.
Yeah.
And Tom's really big into self-improvement. He's been going to therapy, which Huck Finn makes fun of him all the time about, which is really funny.
Because Huck needs it the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
They should go together.
Yeah.
We're trying to get Tom's therapist on the episode of Let's Get Stupid.
That'd be great. Yeah, that would be good.
It would be great.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
I thought about that when I was seeing one, and then I've decided that was not a good thing to do. So.
Little Tommy.
Rough.
But
that's amazing.
So anyway, the problem though with Be Better is everyone's got something called Be Better.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
So the names get a little weird with the branding, but we're trying our best.
No, you guys are killing it. You're doing great. You got a new gym. Check it out if you're in northwestern Chicago-ish. What else is up there? Is there a city up there, like a legit? Like there's Chicago and Illinois. Is there anything north? Not really, huh?
Well, we're more west. Like St. Charles is probably the last suburb.
Yeah, never heard of that either.
Is of decent size. You keep going closer to the city. You have Schaumburg.
Never
Wheaton,
heard of it.
Lombard.
Nope.
You keep going, you get to Rosemont.
Nope.
And then you get to Chicago.
I've heard of Chicago.
None of the suburbs that are in John Hughes movies, in other words. Like the one that's in
They're
Ferris,
on the north side.
Ferris Bueller.
Whatchamacallit's out there, maybe? Home Alone?
North side.
Yeah, it's
I
also.
just knew they were,
I think all the John Hughes movies happen in the same.
Is he John Hughes? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh. He just makes all his movies in Chicago?
Well, he did before he died. Yeah,
Interesting.
pretty much.
Interesting.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
Oh, John Candy.
Yep.
The bobsled coach.
Exactly.
Full
circle.
Yeah, I've seen some of those. Appreciate you as always, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you. I know your schedule is busy. I was finding and thinking of ways to find my way to Paris, but I don't think it's happening. Yeah, West Coast,
Come to
East
Rwanda
Coast.
instead.
Bro, I'd be down, to be honest. That would be insane. That would be insane.
Come on.
Shoot some hoops. Be the water boy. That's how I get a jersey. Yeah, you should have hired. I'll mop the fucking Eagle shit. I don't care. Yeah, I'll clean that up. I've swept so many basketball courts in my life. I've swept hundreds of thousands of basketball courts. That's in my blood.
Perfect.
Yeah, give me a couple mops. I think we're it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, new episode Wednesday and Friday. Thank you so much. GoodCompanyDiscord.com if you want to tap in. And I'm Solid Mike, where you want to find me.
I am at the Jim McDonald on all the social media. This show is 50% Facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network. And we'll talk to you next time. Thank you, man. Miss you bad. Miss you really bad. The more we talk, the more I miss you.
I really got to get out there.
You really do.